welcome to Blaize Faith Apparel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute little eye masks here. So they're double-sided. You can choose whether you use a lining fabric on the inside and a main on the outside, or use both. There's also a one layer of wadding and a cute little strap on the back. This is a 3cm width strap with a 1.2cm elastic inside. And if you want the pattern for this, it's in the description down below if you follow that, along with the link to sewing kits that I make to make your own eye masks. I do a lot of fun prints, new ones that I'm designing myself, do some funny, rude ones for Valentine's Day, and lots of different unique styles, so you can have a look at that if you like. And here's a sneak peek at one of our cheeky, unique prints designed by me at Blaize Faith Apparel. The link to this is in the description down below. And yes, so I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to get straight into it and show you how to make one for yourself. Firstly, make sure you have printed out your eye mask sewing pattern pieces. This will come as 2 A4 pieces. Take the second sheet and fold up to the triangle markings, and we are going to join this to the other sheet and stick it in place. Just a quick note for when you are printing out your sewing pattern. I have done a whole separate tutorial on how to do this, but just to sum up, make sure your printer setting is set to scale and at 100%. Most of them, my one is normally set at 94 or 104%. It expands it a bit for me, so just make sure that your scale is at 100%. Now we just want to double check that the pattern is printed to scale, so this should be 5cm squared all the way around. And here are our pattern pieces. We have 3 of these to cut out. We have 1 main, 1 lining and 1 wadding. This is the strap and it's a centre fold seam here, and we cut out 1 of these. Pin down your pattern pieces and cut out all the elements that you need. I cut the wadding section separate from the main fabric for the eye mask. This is because it gets a bit bulky and it's easier to do on its own. And this is how your pattern pieces should look. Now we are going to take the strap piece and with right sides together, fold in half and pin all the way down. Now stitch the strap down with a 1cm seam allowance. Polyester and silk fabrics will fray, so make sure you snip away any of the frayed sections. Here we are going to turn the strap loop inside out, attach the safety pin to one side of the loop like this, here we go, and the safety pin is going to pop through this opening here. The safety pin is going to be pulled all the way through to the other side, and you gather it up using the safety pin because it's easier for your hands to take hold of. Now we are going to use the iron and press the strap down. Bear in mind, if you're using polyester silks or any fabric with plastics in, you've got to be aware when using an iron, you may have to use a piece of calico or cotton to lay over the top. My iron is brilliant, it actually presets itself, so it's never too hot, it never burns any of my fabric. I don't know how it does it, it's fantastic, but yes, so just be aware of that. Here we are going to stitch along the opening edge here as close as we can to the edge. We're going to top stitch just like this. Now we are going to measure for our elastic. So if you take your pattern piece or one of the ready cut pattern pieces, and we are going to measure across, this like here. We're going to take our pattern piece and we are going to measure across just like that, and it comes to, yes, 24.5 centimetres. 24.5 centimetres, and then we are going to measure around where we want the mask to sit like that, and comes to 55 centimetres. Take away 25.4, so 29.5 is the length that we need our elastic, but we are also going to add 3 centimetres so that we have 1.5 centimetres extra seam allowance on each side. So I believe I said 29.5, which is there, add 3. Mine goes to 32.5, and I am going to cut it there. And cut it there. And now we have cut our elastic, we're going to thread it through. So we're going to use a safety pin and attach it to one end like this. Don't know if you can see, there we go. And we're going to take our strap, and through either end we are going to pop the elastic through like this. And you've got to remember to keep the elastic flat so it doesn't twist in between, and to hold the end so it doesn't go through. So keep hold of this end, and then we just keep gathering and pulling the elastic through the strap like this. And this section here is what you would do if you were making a scrunchie as well. Just the pulling through, and it gives you that gathered effect. And there we have it. I'm going to take off this safety pin because I've pulled the elastic all the way through. Caught myself there. Oh look, it's frayed all the fabric. That's the thing with silks, polyesters, they will fray a lot, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of trimming. So let's make sure that's evened up inside. You can have a 0.5 centimetre of elastic hanging over because we've got 1.5 centimetres on each side. And the seam allowance for this strap is 1 centimetre. There we go, so that's in place like that. There we go, and we are going to do the same here. So make sure you keep the elastic flat and it's all the right way around, and we are going to pull some of this gathered fabric until we get to the end of that elastic with the 0.5 hanging over once again, and then we are going to pin that in place, and there we have our strap. It's starting to look quite cute, isn't it? Make sure that the elastic is in the centre like this is here, and we are going to use a zigzag stitch to hold this in place. I go back and forward a couple of times to make sure it's extra secure. Make sure that you're only stitching inside the seam allowance. And trim away any of the excess thread. And using a zigzag stitch, do the same for the other side. And here we are going to use our pattern piece so that we can see where the strap needs to line up on the eye mask section. So these two lines here are where we are going to match them. Make sure the fabric is pulled away and it's just the elastic section like this, and we are going to pin in place. Make sure you don't pin too close to the edge, because you are going to keep these pins in and you don't want to go into the 1 centimetre seam allowance. So leave this section here free. And we are going to do the same for the other side. This is where we want to attach the top of the strap and pull away any of the extra gathering like we did on the other side and pin in place. Now, using the other eye mask piece, we are going to pop it the right side down on top of the strap piece, and we're going to match up the sides. Next, we are going to pop the wadding piece underneath all of these elements here and pin everything in place. When we're pinning, we've got to make sure we don't catch any of the strap and the strap stays in the middle. That's why those pins that we pinned the sides of the straps earlier are staying inside. And as you go along, you will notice that the top layer will probably pull away as it's got the strap in between. Just make sure that you're matching up all of the edges like this all the way around and keeping the strap enclosed inside. Now we are going to head over to the machine and stitch all the way around this section here. We are going to leave a 5 centimetre gap here, and this is how we are going to turn the eye mask in the right way around. So we are using a 1 centimetre seam allowance once again, and we are going to stitch all the way around. This section here will be the 5 centimetre gap from here to here. You don't want to do it on a strap opening, because that obviously makes it very difficult to top stitch and make it look neat. And whenever you get to the elastic section, what I do is I back stitch a couple of times just to make sure it's extra secure. These sections do get a lot of extra wear and tear. Make sure you've got the straightforward stitch and are using a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and stitch all the way around. As you can see, as I'm stitching around, I'm pulling and making sure that everything is lined up and the strap is still inside. And here we are finishing off and making sure we back stitch, and there is that 5 centimetre opening. Now, to reduce any extra bulk, we are going to take the wadding section only, and we're going to trim it quite close, or as close as we can to the edge all around here. So leave about 0.3, 0.4 millimetres. And then after, just trim down the edges of the eye mask main fabric. Not too sure, as the fabric's quite prone to fraying. And now pull open these two sections, and we are turning it the right way round with the main pieces coming out like this. This is my favourite part because you really get to see the mask coming together. And pull everything out, and as you pull, make sure you're pushing out any edges so everything's nice and crisp. We will also head over to the iron after this and press everything flat, so don't worry too much, but it is a lot easier if now you press and push any extra corners out, especially concentrate on the curved edges and where the strap meets. There we go, and now we are going to head over and press the eye mask and fold in the seams for the bit that we are going to stitch. Make sure you cut away any extra threads and start off by pushing in the open seam. Here we have pressed inwards these seams, and we're just going to pin in place, matching both ends together neatly. This is the section where we will be top stitching, so it's important that this is all very neat and matching both sides. Now we're going to stitch as close as we can to the edge, and it's going to just close off this opening here. You may have to just slightly pull on the opening to make it lie nice and flat, just like I'm doing here. Once you have trimmed down all of your excess threads, the last step is to press it nicely in place. Any of those curved edges can be nicely pressed out. And here we have a nicely pressed finished eye mask. There we go, and here is your finished product. There we go, all ready for bed. They're really nice, really comfortable, and I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for future videos, and I look forward to hearing from you down in the comments. If you have anything to say, any suggestions on what I can do next would be greatly appreciated, and I love hearing from you all. So thank you, I hope you enjoyed it and have a lovely rest of your day.